US 422. Alright, so US 422 is a beautiful road throughout eastern Ohio and most of Pennsylvania. So looking at its route, it's going to be really weird. There's two spurts. One goes from Cleveland to the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. The other one goes from Harrisburg to the Philly suburbs. We'll look at both of them. You're watching Super Reviews. If you guys aren't sub, please sub. And when we get to 1,000 subs, we are opening up a Discord server. Yeah, that server. We're looking forward to it when we get near there. You can request your exit section in the comments for free or on the community page. And I don't have anything else in that. And yes, we're looking at both spurts. So we'll start with the western section going eastbound. So it begins in Cleveland. We'll be turning right here to officially start 422. This is on Ontario Street. And right away we get the Guardian Stadium. So Red Sox are still better than these people and the Browns. This is on I-77. There's no 422 mention, even though it's clear this exit 162A. But 422 will be signed for Woodland Avenue. I mean, that's the street that actually is on, so I guess. And 422 will go to the straight right behind the Shell. And throughout the beginning of the stretch, we are crossing over a ton of railroad bridges throughout here. We'll be joining 271 for just a little bit, specifically southbound 271, and there's no control cities for some reason. We get off right away, we get 480 West Toledo, and 422 East is signed for Warren. Sensible choice. And we are leaving the major Cleveland area, so we're in the orange corporate limit. But on mileage signs, however, we get Warren as our primary control city at 41 miles away. Warren is the sensible choice here. See, Warren is our primary control city at random range changes, and if you can read very well, you can see a spoiler. But every interchange they do stick with Warren, so they're not going to be changing well down Ohio as they usually are. And they do stick with our mileage sign still 32 miles to go until we get there. We're going to go for a pretty stunning, nice lake for here. It's weird for Ohio to have something like this. Well, we're near the Great Lakes area anyway. And the 422 freeway ends for a little bit, but not for the last time. See, here we're meeting a freeway. I think it's the Warren bypass, but we're going to be going downtown. We're in the Warren city limits. 422 is now going to be turning left where the white truck is going, or white van. Here's another look of downtown Warren. I think Warren is sensible. Out of Cleveland is the major city other than Youngstown. And here's another service or substandard street through Warren. See, we're going jumping ahead to I-80 for Cleveland and East 80. I don't know, what are you doing? After that, we go into Youngstown, and I think there's a Youngstown Stadium or train station, which is where we're facing. Here's the Youngstown State Stadium, so I was mistaken for a little bit. Anyways, we meet US 62 for Poland. Wow, that's a really far hike, and plus you're supposed to go eastbound. But 422 will instead go to Campbell and Newcastle, while 62 East will head over to Hubbard. And jumping ahead to Pennsylvania. Oh, Pennsylvania, what are you going to do to us today? We're going to have a long video in Pennsylvania today. And right away, PA is going to break the rules. We'll be in the UK for a couple miles during construction. And we have the weird flea market. I've had the correct pronunciation, but now I've lost it. We meet 376 west, which should be north for Sharon, east for Butler and Pittsburgh. Anyways, we split off with 376 for Pittsburgh. 422 east will now be signed for Butler. Alright. Even on miles signs, we just have a normal PA Turnpike thing, so we just get our next exits for Newcastle here. We see Butler will still be our primary control city. for 422 East, which is sensible here. Here's where our another 422 freeway section ends, and will still be 422 East Butler, while business goes to Newcastle. On the way to Butler, we have Little John's Workshop. It works really well since we have a lot of political stuff around here. We meet US 19 for Mercer, and I don't know this other city. And on I-79, this is on I-79, we get Newcastle and Butler still, and we're almost near Butler. We have a nice lake going on here. I think it's Lake Butler. I wonder if it's famed to Malcolm Butler in Super Bowl 49. See, we're in the general Butler area. We have 356 going to go downtown and in this other city. But if you get off 8, you can get there a little faster because 422 is a bypass through Butler. And in Butler, we are now signed for Kittening. I don't know how that's said, and that's a weird one. And we do have some nice balance here for the usual northern Pennsylvania when you're north of Pittsburgh or the PA Turnpike. And we no longer in the freeway, but we still are. We don't have that median block. And this house, wow, the houses around here are crazy. If you own that land, that's pretty impressive and rich. We're meeting 28 south of Pittsburgh, and we're near the Kittening area, so 422 business will spawn again. And on that we get Kittening, Indiana. That can be really confusing because people think it's Kittening, Indiana, like in Indiana. Crossing the Allegheny River, we can kind of see downtown Kittening, and it's a pretty cool town. Looking straight ahead with the mountains. But we get exit B. Pennsylvania is really weird with their exits. It's like New Mexico on 285. We split off for 422. 422 is now signed for Indiana. And we are on our road to Indiana, Pennsylvania, not Indiana like the state that's not that far away. And still we have nice scenery as for usual western Pennsylvania, except for maybe the Pittsburgh area with mountains. Then we get our weird exit A-B situation with US 119 and Punxsutawney, another famous political place. So Pennsylvania is famous with their political stuff, western area, and 422 signed for Ebensburg. See, we're meeting Pennsylvania 553 for Penn Run. Pennsylvania Run or just Penn Run. And we are ending right here at US 219. And this is where the western section of 422 ends. So, in fact, we'll look at westbound. This is the western section, by the way. So, we will begin on US 22 this time, where we could see the road to Ebensburg downtown, but we will follow 219 to get to 422. And I decided to go for downtown Ebensburg. It's an alright city. I don't think it's that big enough to be signed. And on US 219, 422 signed for Ebensburg, Indiana. So again, Pennsylvania likes to do this and just confuse people. But we see Indiana as our primary control state of 28 miles, not like 300, 280 or something. Krispy Kreme, this is like the old donut shop or something. This is pretty cool right here. Here's 119 again. We can go to Blairsville. But this time we can't go to Punxsutawney to see the groundhogs. Here we use a look of downtown Indiana. This is Indiana, Pennsylvania, not Indiana, Indiana. And this is Indiana University of Pennsylvania. It's really confusing with Pennsylvania doing these weird confusion. And we are signed for Kittening in another city that I'm not going to say. I'm not embarrassing myself with Kittening. And again, just nice scenery going on here, especially westbound and western Pennsylvania. See, we're at a little town on the way. We're in that S city that was signed at the Indiana interchange. And again, just some nice, stunning scenery with mountains here. We're in way the middle of the Appalachian Mountains here. We're in the Kittening area. We're going to follow 422 business. Because why not? Because that goes downtown. See, 422 will keep right, while 422, real one, goes to Ford City and Butler. But I don't think about Ford City. 422 is going to turn left. This is the best we're going to get for downtown Kittening, especially for business 422. Crossing the Allegheny River again. I think this goes all the way down to Pittsburgh and the Ohio River. And here's another look of business 422 as we get closer to real 422. Anyways, 422 will go west to Butler now, heading to a place that you guys might know about. And we get more scenery and freeway-ish on our way over to Butler. And again, it's always like this, so I had to show some pictures. Wow, it's pretty nice through the Appalachians here. Meaning 68 for Jefferson Street. Just decided to just show a random exit. Don't know why I showed this. Anyways, here's our major Butler interchange again. This time we see 8 North Harrisville. Don't know what that is, and we'll probably never know.
Look at what happened.
Anyways, 422 signed east for Kittening, and we'll now head towards Newcastle. So, sensible choices here. Again, outside Butler, we're on our freeway, but this is not interstate standards because it goes into some two-lane roads. It's still freeway here, but there's no guardrail to protect going off the road. We see here 79 North is going to Erie, but unfortunately we can't see 79 South, although we assume it would probably be Pittsburgh. Anyways, we're back to our normal two-lane standard roads for here for 422. And we see here we're going to follow business 422 again to go Newcastle, while real 422 goes to Sharon and Youngstown. See, here's the look of downtown Newcastle, or basically like maybe the city limits of Newcastle. Here's downtown. I don't see like City Hall. City Hall might be to the left. Don't know Western Pennsylvania well. Anyways, here's 376, which is randomly signed for Poland, Ohio. And 422 West is going to Youngstown. See, we do get a cool End Business 422 sign, which I do like. It's pretty cool. And we see here 376 West Sharon, East Butler, Pittsburgh, 422 West, and now for Youngstown. See, we're having a horrible sign for Ohio, and gas is $3.45. That's expensive for Ohio. See, right away in Ohio, we kind of have like a Massachusetts road here where it's supposed to be a 2-lane road, but it's a 4-lane road. And we're going to get on a freeway through Youngstown, and we're signed for Warren, which is alright. See, 422 is going to be getting off soon for Warren, as well as Ohio and 193. South go Pittsburgh and Cleveland. See, we're heading towards 680 for Pittsburgh and Cleveland, but 422 will get off instead for Warren. See, Warren will turn right for. See, we'll get there in about 12 miles. 680 straight ahead. Here's I-80, and wow, New York City. Pennsylvania hates New York City, so Ohio has to sign it for them. And here's basically Warren. See, Warren looks a bit more urban than Youngstown in my opinion. 422 is going to turn right on Parkman Road now, so we'll see what will be signed for soon. See, on 5 and 82, 422 is signed for Cleveland, which is a perfect choice. 5 and 82 for Ravenna. That's weird. And here is Parkland, Ohio. And I just decided to show this because of this cool gantry bandstand. See, when 422 becomes a freeway again, 422 is still signed west for Cleveland. See, when we meet 271 and 480, south goes to Columbus and north goes to Erie. We're going to follow north 271. We get off 271, 422 and now be signed for Chardon Boulevard, as well as Ohio 87. See, here we go through, leave something park, Sturgeon Park or something like that. See, we're meeting I-77 again, basically at the end of it, and we're signed for the Garden Stadium, the Cavs Arena, but not the Browns. Here's the Cavs Arena, and the Celtics should be winning the finals and beating the Cavs in Cleveland. And here we end the look of downtown Cleveland. This is the western terminus of US 422. Alright, let's go over the way it should be for western US 422. So, eastbound should be Shaker Heights, Warren, Youngstown, Newcastle, Butler, Indiana, Skip Kidney Ridge, Indiana, and Altoona. West should be Indiana, Butler, Newcastle, and Youngstown, Warren, and Cleveland. Alright, now we'll take a look at the eastern section of 422. So we'll begin east of Harrisburg, where we get 322 East per city. I'm not going to say. 422 is going to Hershey and Palmyra. See, we are in the Hershey area, so we're getting a lot of that chocolate thing soon. See, here's the Hershey History Store, and you'll know more about the chocolate that involves Hershey. See, here's another look of central downtown Hershey right here. And we'll be turning right. We're now in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. See, we're going to be turning right with Pennsylvania 72. And here's another look of downtown Lebanon. It's more urban than Hershey, and maybe Harrisburg even. And 422 will turn right, and we'll head more east, Pennsylvania. See, 422 is going to become a freeway, but not, because there's a yellow line here. Wow, McDonald's is bringing the McRib back. It would mean 479 with cities I'm not going to say. And I believe this is in a city that starts with a G or something like that. 422 meets 222, Reading, downtown Pottstown. Business goes to Lancaster. See, 222 is going to get off for Allentown. 422 is going to have an exit soon for Pottstown. We're nowhere near Reading. And to the left is the Schuylkill River, and we're heading towards Reading, but we are not signed for Reading because we don't go downtown. And we actually cross the Schuylkill River, and that right bridge is pretty cool. We meet 176 south from Morgantown, which should be maybe Philly or Harrisburg. 422 for Pottstown is fine. On our way to Pottstown, we go for this weird separational road, which is not downtown. But Highway 100 goes to Westchester, and 100 North has a bridge to downtown. I see outside Pottstown, 422 is going to turn right for King of Prussia. That's the longest city name I've heard of. And we have a cool mall that I like to check out here. Pennsylvania has some pretty big malls in the Philly area. See, we're going to be ending 422 soon with US 202 for King of Prussia, Philadelphia, and Westchester. We end right here at I-76. Obviously, we got the Pennsylvania Turnpike in Philly here. 202 South Westchester. Yep. Alright, let's turn around and do Eastern 422 westbound. We begin on 202 again. We get 422 West Pottstown to West 76 for the Pennsylvania Turnpike, New Jersey, and Harrisburg. See, we finally getting the Valley Forge exit. We can finally see what Valley Forge is about. But Valley Forge should never be a city sign on I-76, and it doesn't exist, so we'll cross the Schuylkill River and go more west instead. And we'll now be heading towards Pottstown, and we do have some sharp turns coming up here on 422. Here's a look of downtown Pottstown in this weird street. I think it's Canal Street. It's very confusing. And in Pottstown, 422 will now be signed for Reading, which is the next good choice that it should be. On our way to Reading, if there's no highway, then this is what we get. Just some cool residential area. 422 business goes to Mount Penn, or Mount Pennsylvania, or Mount Penn. 422 West Reading. On 176, we do get 422 East for Pottstown, 422 West Reading. There's a bridge that go downtown. Here's a cool freeway here. So to our left and to our right, we have urban areas. So I think here is Kenilworth, Pennsylvania, with this intersection right here. And then on the other side of the river is Reading. So this is downtown Reading, Pennsylvania right here. It's pretty urban. It's in the middle of nowhere. Here we have the Santander Arena, which is probably the next home of the Philadelphia Pacers, if we hope. Now, if we meet 222 for Allentown, Southwest 422 and 222 goes to Lancaster and Lebanon. See, we're getting the Berkshire Mall. That's in Massachusetts, not in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. See, 222 South goes to Lancaster, 422 West Lebanon. Maybe argue Harrisburg from here would be fine. And on our way to Lebanon, we have a cool grassland road here on Pennsylvania Avenue. Here we have a sign that tells us we're getting near Hershey with the Hershey's Kisses chocolate candy. And here's a look of Lebanon as we're getting much closer to it. And here's another look of downtown Lebanon where we meet Highway 72 right here at this traffic light. Outside of Lebanon will basically be on a 2-lane rural road here as we get near Hershey. We're in Hershey, and why don't take a right on 743 and go to a famous spot? Yep, right here is Hershey Park. Has a lot of famous and upside down rides, so if you like going upside down, this is the place for you. And this is really cool. You have a place to eat, and then you just have a roller coaster coming right next to you. I really wish that web wasn't there. This is where we'll end at Pennsylvania 39. This is where 422 ends and becomes 322 and goes to Harrisburg. Alright, let's do the way it should be for the eastern section of US 422. So we see eastbound should be Hershey Park, maybe, then Lebanon, Reading, Pottstown, Norristown, and Philadelphia. King of Prussia, it's not that big at all. Other ways should be Pottstown, Reading, Lebanon, Hershey, and Harrisburg. Maybe throwing some Hershey Park stuff. And then after that, Harrisburg. And why not do the way it should be for the entirety of 422, even the section in between it with the fastest way from Altoona to Harrisburg. So Shaker Heights, Warren, Youngstown, Newcastle, Butler, Indiana, Altoona, State College with I-99, Harrisburg with 322, Hershey Park, Lebanon, Reading, Pottstown, Norristown. Pottstown, Reading, Lebanon, Hershey, Harrisburg, Harrisburg, State College, Altoona, Ebensburg, Indiana, Butler, Newcastle, Youngstown, Warren, Cleveland for westbound. And we got big US 36 coming to you this weekend. Westbound US 36 it is.